Greetings, students. My name's Dr. Faith Acker, and I'd like to welcome you to this fall semester at Southeastern Louisiana University. I'm new to this university, but I'm not new to teaching. I've already had teaching experience teaching middle school, high school, college in several different colleges, and even graduate school, both in person and online, which I hope you'll find useful as we have this class in a partially hybrid format for at least the first weeks of this semester. I'm really looking forward to teaching you this semester, and I'd like to take just a few moments to talk about my own experience as a writer and as a teacher. One way in which I'm especially qualified to teach this course is because I myself am a writer. Now, I've been writing for most of my life. Some of the things I wrote, no one will ever see, I hope. Other things that I've written I'm very proud of, and a few have even been published. And, in fact, my first book is coming out this fall. I mention this not because I want you to go out and read it, it is a bit dry, but more because I want you to understand the process that I used to write my book is very similar to the process that I used to write papers when I was in middle and high school, and also very similar to some of the processes that I'm going to ask you to be using in this English course. For instance, I wrote my book sentence by sentence and paragraph by paragraph. I didn't sit down and write the whole thing in one burst of flurried activity in a magical week or month or even 3 months. It took me a lot of days, and some days I wrote a paragraph. Other days I only wrote a sentence, and on a few very wonderful days I managed to write several paragraphs and string them all together. That's how I want you to write your papers this semester. I want you to think of them as paragraphs that build together and make a larger idea. Some days you may only write a sentence, and that's okay. Most days in this course, I hope you'll have the goal of writing a complete paragraph. And finally, once you've written those, you're going to do much what I've done as well. You'll want to take the things that you've written and take them to get feedback. You might do a peer review activity in class with me. You might take them to the writing lab or upload them to Smart Thinking. You have lots of ways to get feedback. But perhaps the most important feedback, particularly the feedback that you're paying for, is my feedback. So on each piece of work that you produce, I'll be giving you a little bit of feedback, and it will almost always have something critical to say. Not because I think it's bad, but because I want to help you improve as a writer from the beginning or to end of the course. As I received feedback from friends and colleagues and people that I paid for my book to do editing and other things, I learned a lot about myself as a writer. For instance, one thing I learned is that I actually have a tendency to write very long sentences, which might be something you've noticed in this video as well, because I also speak sometimes in very long sentences. That's something that I really try to fix and correct and adapt for in my own writing, but it's not perfect. If you read my book, if you ever read any of my book, you'll probably notice that I still have some long sentences, but I do have more short sentences in there than I did in many of my early drafts. So as I give you feedback in this course, I hope you'll consider taking that feedback and applying it both to the paper that you're working on and also to future papers and future writing projects. By the end of the semester, I hope that each of you will have improved in several writing areas, but I also expect to improve and to change and to grow as a writer myself. I'm not finished being the best writer that I can be, and neither are you. We're going to spend this semester together learning to become better and more efficient and more approachable writers.